Marcus! Marcus, wake up! The police are here! The banging on the door grew louder. Marcus jumped from his prison mattress, his heart pounding. But this wasn't a dream. This was real. 2 officers stood at his mother's hospital bed, and his sister Jennifer was pointing at him, tears streaming down her face. That's him! That's the man who tried to kill our mother for money. The room fell silent. His mother, weak and trembling in her hospital bed, turned her head slowly to look at her son. The pain in her eyes was worse than any punishment the law could give. Marcus, my son, is this true? Hello my beautiful people, welcome back to Tales by Teemee, where we share real-life stories that touch the heart and teach us lessons we'll never forget. If this is your first time here, welcome to our family. And to my loyal viewers who come back every time, God bless you. Thank you for your support and your love. Before we continue this powerful story, please do me one favor. Comment below and tell me where you are watching from. Are you in Lagos, Accra, London, New York, Toronto? Let me know. I love seeing our big family from all over the world. Now, let's get into today's story. Trust me, you'll want to hear every word of this one. Mrs. Adebayo had 3 children, but Marcus was special. Not because she loved him more, no, a mother's love is equal for all her children. But Marcus had something different about him. He was charming. He was smart. He knew how to talk to people and make them believe anything. That boy will go far, the neighbors used to say when Marcus was young. He has a bright future. Mrs. Adebayo would smile and thank God. She was a petty trader who sold vegetables in the market. Her husband had died 10 years ago, leaving her to raise 3 children alone. Life was hard, but she managed. Every morning, she woke up at 4 a.m. to pray for her children before going to the market. Jennifer, the eldest, became a nurse. Chidi, the youngest, was still in university studying engineering. And Marcus said he was into business. Mama, I'm working on something big, he would tell her. Just wait. Soon, I'll build you a big house, and you won't have to sell vegetables anymore. Mrs. Adebayo would touch his cheek gently. My son, I don't need a big house. I just need you to be a good person. Money is good, but character is better. Marcus would nod and smile, but deep down, he wasn't listening. It started small. Marcus learnt about online scams from some friends. They called it Yahoo on the streets, but the proper name was internet fraud. At first, Marcus felt guilty. He remembered his mother's words about honesty and hard work. But then, he made his first 500,000 naira. In 1 week, 500,000 naira. His mother had never seen that kind of money in her entire life. The guilt disappeared. The money was too sweet. Marcus became bolder. He created fake investment platforms, promising people 50% returns in 3 months. He targeted Nigerians living abroad, people who had money and wanted to invest back home. He was so good at talking, so convincing, that people trusted him with their life savings. Within 2 years, Marcus had collected over 50 million. He moved out of his mother's small flat in Surulere and rented a luxury apartment in Lekki. He bought a Range Rover Sport. His wardrobe was full of designer clothes, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Versace. Every weekend, he was at the hottest clubs in Lagos, popping champagne bottles that cost more than his mother's monthly income. Women flocked to him. Beautiful women who loved his money and his lifestyle. Marcus felt like a king. His mother was worried. Marcus, where is all this money coming from? What kind of business are you doing? Mama, I told you. I'm into tech and investments. Everything is legal, don't worry. But mothers know. Deep in her spirit, Mrs. Adebayo knew something was wrong. She prayed harder for her son every night. Jennifer, his sister, confronted him one day. Marcus, I I know what you're doing. This lifestyle you're living is not from any legitimate business. You need to stop before it's too late. Marcus laughed. Jenny, you are just jealous because I'm successful and you're still wearing the same nurse uniform every day. Mind your business. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. Success built on lies will crumble, Marcus. Remember that. They say what goes up must come down. For Marcus, the fall was faster than the rise. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had been watching him. Several people had reported his fake investment scheme. One morning, they raided his apartment and froze all his bank accounts. Marcus woke up one day with 50 million in his accounts. By evening, everything was zero. The EFCC seized his car, his apartment, his jewelry, everything. They told him he was under investigation and must not leave the country. His passport was seized. Suddenly, Marcus had nothing. The friends who used to party with him disappeared. The women who called him baby and my king blocked his number. The clubs that used to reserve special tables for him now ask him to pay up front, if they let him in at all. Marcus moved back to his mother's small flat in Surulere. The same flat he had been ashamed of just months before. Mrs. Adebayo didn't say, "I told you so." She simply hugged her son and said, "It's okay, we will manage together." But Marcus couldn't manage. He couldn't sleep on a thin mattress after sleeping on a king-size bed. He couldn't eat beans and gari after eating sushi and steak. He couldn't take public buses after driving a Range Rover. The withdrawal was physical. He felt like an addict who had lost his drug. "I need to get back on top," he told himself every night. "I can't live like this. I won't live like this." Marcus started looking for shortcuts again. But this time, he had no money to start another scam. He needed something faster, something more powerful. That's when he turned to the spiritual route. In Lagos, when people are desperate, they look for spiritual solutions. Marcus started visiting prophets, alphas, and herbalists, anyone who promised to bring back his wealth. The first prophet charged him 200,000 for special prayers and anointing oil. Nothing happened. The second alpha told him to sacrifice a ram and bathe at a river at midnight. Marcus did it, still nothing. A third herbalist gave him special soap to bathe with for 21 days. "Your enemies have tied your destiny," the man said. "This soap will break the chains." Marcus was down to his last savings, but he paid. He bathed with the black soap every night, waiting for a miracle that never came. He was frustrated, angry, broken. Then someone told him about Baba Rashid. "That man is not like the others," his friend whispered. "Baba Rashid is real. He doesn't play, but his work is dark and his price is high." Marcus was desperate enough not to care. Baba Rashid lived in a remote village 3 hours outside Lagos. His compound was surrounded by strange markings and animal skulls hung on the fence. The smell of incense and blood filled the air. Marcus felt fear for the first time, but he had come too far to turn back. Baba Rashid was an old man with tribal marks on his face and eyes that seemed to see right through you. He studied Marcus for a long time, without speaking. "You want money," Baba Rashid finally said. It wasn't a question. "Yes, Baba. I need your help. I need to be successful again." The herbalist nodded slowly. "I can help you. My medicine is powerful, but it requires a sacrifice." "I'll do anything, Baba. Just tell me what you need." Baba Rashid looked into Marcus's eyes. "Not anything. Someone. For you to rise again, someone close to you must fall. Someone whose blood runs in your veins." Marcus's stomach turned. "What do you mean?" "Your mother," Baba Rashid said simply. "Her life force is strong. If you transfer it to yourself, you will have wealth beyond your imagination. But she will grow weak and die within 3 months." The room started spinning. Marcus felt like he couldn't breathe. No, Baba. Not my mother. Isn't there another way? Baba Rashid shrugged. There is always another way. You can work hard, be patient, rebuild slowly. But that's not what you came here for, is it? You came here for power, for fast money. That kind of power requires blood. The question is, how badly do you want it? Marcus left the shrine that day without agreeing to anything. But the seed had been planted. For 3 days, Marcus couldn't eat or sleep. He watched his mother cooking in the small kitchen, humming the hymns she loved. He watched her pray every morning, calling his name in her prayers, asking God to guide him and protect him. This woman loves me, he thought. She has sacrificed everything for me. But then, he would remember the Range Rover, the clubs, the women, the respect he used to command when he walked into a room. I can't live like this forever, the devil whispered in his ear. She's old anyway. She has lived her life. You're still young. You deserve to enjoy your life. Back and forth. His conscience fought with his greed. On the 4th day, greed won. Marcus convinced himself with lies. She would want me to be successful. If she knew this would make me rich, she would agree. I'll take care of her memory. I'll build a big church in her name. He went back to Baba Rashid. I'll do it, Marcus said, his voice barely a whisper. The herbalist smiled. A cold smile that had no warmth in it. Good. Bring me her photograph, something she wears often, and 500,000. Come back in 3 days. Marcus stole a photo of his mother from the family album and took one of her head wraps while she was at the market. He borrowed the money from an old friend, lying about needing it for a business opportunity. 3 days later, he was back in the shrine. What happened in that shrine? Marcus would never speak of. The things he saw, the things Baba Rashid did, they haunted him even in broad daylight. When it was finished, Baba Rashid gave him a small pouch. Wear this around your waist. Within 2 weeks, you will see results. Money will come to you from unexpected places. But remember, you cannot reverse this. Once it is done, it is done. Marcus took the pouch with shaking hands. Within 1 week, his mother fell ill. Mrs. Adebayo, who had never been seriously sick in her life, suddenly couldn't get out of bed. She had no appetite. Her body felt heavy, as if something was draining her life force. Jennifer took her to the hospital. The doctors ran tests but couldn't find anything specifically wrong. It might be stress or depression, they said. But they gave her medication anyway. Marcus watched his mother grow weaker every day. And just as Baba Rashid had promised, money started coming to him. An old business partner suddenly called to pay back a debt Marcus had forgotten about. Someone offered him a consulting job with a huge upfront payment. Little streams of money started flowing toward him. But every time he saw his mother's weak face, guilt ate at him like acid. Jennifer was not a fool. She noticed that her mother's sickness started right after Marcus returned from one of his mysterious trips. She also noticed that Marcus, who had been broke for months, suddenly had money again. One night, while her mother was sleeping in the hospital, Jennifer went through Marcus's phone. She found the location history, multiple trips to the same remote village. She hired a private investigator. The investigator followed the trail and discovered Baba Rashid. When confronted with money and the threat of police involvement, the herbalist confessed everything. Jennifer's world collapsed. Her own brother had tried to kill their mother for money. She went straight to the police. That morning, when the police came to the hospital room, Marcus knew it was over. His sister's voice was shaking with rage and pain. That's him. That's the man who tried to kill our mother for money. Mrs. Adebayo, weak as she was, looked at her son. Marcus, my son, is this true? Marcus couldn't speak. He couldn't even look at her. The police arrested him on the spot. As they put handcuffs on his wrists, his mother cried. Not for herself, but for her son. What have you done, Marcus? What have you done? The trial was a media sensation. Newspapers called it the son who sold his mother's soul. Every day, the courtroom was packed with people who came to see the monster who could do such a thing. Baba Rashid was arrested too and confessed everything in court, trying to reduce his own sentence. Mrs. Adebayo recovered slowly after the ritual was reversed, but she was never the same. She testified in court from a wheelchair, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know where I went wrong," she said. "I taught him about God. I taught him about love. I gave him everything I had, and he tried to kill me for money." The judge showed no mercy. "Marcus Adebayo, you have committed crimes that shock the conscience of this court. You defrauded innocent people, you practiced ritual murder, and you attempted to kill the woman who gave you life. You are a danger to society and a disgrace to humanity. I hereby sentence you to life imprisonment, with no possibility of parole for 25 years. Marcus collapsed in the courtroom. Today, Marcus sits in Kirikiri Maximum Security Prison. He is 28 years old, but he looks much older. The other prisoners avoid him. Even criminals have a code: you don't harm your mother. Sometimes, Jennifer brings pictures of their mother to show him. Mrs. Adebayo has refused to visit her son in prison. The pain is too much. In his cell at night, Marcus thinks about everything. The Range Rover is gone. The clubs are close to him. The women have long forgotten his name. All he has left is regrets. And the memory of his mother's face, when she asked, "Marcus, my son, is this true?" My dear viewers, this story is true. It happened, and it continues to happen in different forms all around us. How many young people today want to be rich quick? How many are ready to do anything, lie, cheat, steal, even harm their own families just for money and a flashy lifestyle? Let this story be a warning. Money is good, but money obtained through wickedness will never bring you peace. Success built on the suffering of others, especially your own family, is a curse, not a blessing. Marcus had everything: a loving mother, a good family, opportunities, but greed destroyed him. Don't let greed destroy you too. If this story touched you, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to Tales by Teemee for more real-life stories that teach us valuable lessons. And don't forget to comment below, where are you watching from? Until next time, stay blessed, stay wise, and remember, family is everything. Money is nothing if you lose your soul to get it. God bless you. This is Teemee, and I'll see you in the next story.